Hey Anna, hey, how you doing? Okay, so oh, I got your that note that you had included regarding you're going to be out for the rest of the weekend, and that's cool. I'm sorry I didn't get to this a little bit earlier. I had actually taken I was away from the studio yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to provide any critique and comments there. So if you had submitted late Friday, which it looks like you did, then here's the first opportunity I've had to provide feedback. So I apologize. I didn't get this to you a little bit earlier. At any rate, let's go ahead and jump into this. Um, Felt the process was very useful in finding ways to make improvement to improve the app before creating the digital prototype. Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what we do. I mean, you're using low tech, low cost methods to find and establish and rectify very early stages in the process and to recognize problems in this very early stage typically revolves around objective analysis based on usually navigation and wayfinding at this point. So, and then of course, as we move through the process, the testing rigor of the testing criteria becomes much more rigorous, right? Till the point till we finally start getting into subjective analysis and subjective comments and recommendations from your user testing. So, all right, excellent. So let's go ahead and jump right over to your process. Here is the process book, which I think is great. Now, it looks like this is your paper prototyping that has been included in the process book. So that's fantastic. And then we have the screenshots, which are fantastic. That's great. Let's go ahead and jump over here, take a look. Problem is defined, solution is defined. Good connection here, really good connection. Great introduction to the process. Main features and functions, following right along beautifully. The logic so far is fantastic. Target market. Demographics needs, at first I thought this was a single page target market. So of course my recommendation therein was going to be to let's get a little bit more detail. Then I jump to the next page and I see that you've included behaviors and values in your target market. That's good stuff. That's important. The more detailed you can be in defining and describing your target market, the more successful your scenarios and I should say it, the more successful your personas and scenarios are going to be depicting the intent of the app. So good job. Competition. I want to talk about competition a little bit. I really think it's a great idea to give different criteria in ascertaining the success or lack of success in the competition. So instead of just saying, okay, here are the pros and here are the cons, let's isolate those pros and cons to this. Let's talk about the pros and cons in three different areas: functionality and features, visual design, and usability. That way you're saying, okay, the function of here are the pros and cons of the function and features of the app. Okay, then here are the pros and cons of the visual design. Maybe the functions and features are great, but the visual design is absolutely horrible. So let's dissect that and analyze that and detail that, and then of course usability. So again, pros and cons in three different criteria: functionality and features, visual design, and usability. And I think that's a really great way to look at the competition. Now, if you look at the Treehouse example, that designer included a mocked up screen of the actual competition's interface or homepage. So that's a really great idea. So I would say maybe you could use a little bit more detail in the competition page. Personas are outstanding. I think the best thing, and I loved it, the fact that you're choosing three different, completely different personas for individuals within the same user group. You've got the 49-year-old housewife, the 22-year-old student, and then the 34-year-old male young professional. So good job. We've got the ways that, okay, let's go to, okay, wireframe sketches look fantastic. And you transpose these into digital, which I thought was great. And you have your paper prototypes. Now, the scenario, I think the scenario, one little bit of confusion in the scenario is this, and boy, this is so strange. Yeah. Okay, there it is. So the scenario right now, it looks like you're giving, like, scenario A here is this situation without the app, and then the same or similar situation with the app. You may want to make that specifically clear. But it's right, when I looked at this, it took me a second to figure out this is the scenario without the app, this is the scenario with the app. Because I kept on going through here, then going from this frame and thinking it's a linear narrative to this is the next frame. Okay, so you may want to delineate that right here and with a little kind of a subhead describing each of those two flows. for the scenario. And then also I recommend at least one more scenario. Paper prototypes, of course, look fantastic. And then we have, gosh, my computer is just, I just cannot scroll. These pages are not scrolling. This is my computer. I'm actually trying to scroll. It's jumping around like this. It's really, really bad. Something's going on with my computer. I'm not happy about it at all. Anyway, so we've got our paper prototype user testing here. This is great, really good. Good description. So you're giving the criteria. Let me see, 24-year-old male who is the task, return home for the groceries. Okay, so yeah, and then I would just summarize the criteria that you're using for the tests. Okay, so just give one page of what the actual tasks are, then get down into get into breaking them down. So in other words, in the Treehouse app, remember she said, that designer said, okay, these are the tasks that are associated. And just a bullet list of the specific tasks so that we have kind of a bird's eye view of what the tasks are moving into these individual descriptions of each task. Then you have user feedback. That's fantastic. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Very, very thorough, very complete. Then we have, I'm wondering if we shouldn't call these something other than scenarios, maybe situation, because right now we've already got scenarios, so we're using that term. I don't want there to be any confusion between the two. Digital wireframes look great. These little task flows right here, these user flows, I didn't see them at first, and I had to look really close, but there's these little rules. They're green. They're probably just a little tiny rule. I would say increase the size of those rules, make them a little thicker, and maybe even make the color a little bit more noticeable, maybe red on black. And that way, as soon as we open this page, we're going to see that these are our flows. So let's get in there, zoom in, and take a little bit of a closer look. Okay, and then that seems, yes, that's the last page. So that, and then this page is already, we've already looked at this page within the process book, so that's fantastic. And then finally, we've got these wonderful screenshots. Now, what I would recommend here is in your screenshots of the pages with your app. So you're going to have these digital mock-ups of the pages, all the pages in your app, right? So let's go ahead and just, you know what? Can we just go ahead and use an actual image of an iPhone just to give it a little bit more of a little higher degree of realism? Instead of showing the screen, show the screens within the device they're being viewed on. Okay, all right. So at any rate, yeah, Anna, good stuff, man. You're just plugging right along. I'm really impressed. So fantastic. So take a look, be sure to take a look at the announcement, the Welcome to Week 4 announcement, which has the requirements for the process book, as well as I've assigned teams. So moving in next week into week 5, we've got a team project. And I've assigned teams during week 4 so you guys can get acclimated. So be sure to take a look at that. If you have any questions at all, I'm right here, right? So please let me know. Great work. Thank you so much.